Hi everyone, it's Kurt. So lots of times I say that we live in a cis supremacist society and that it's cis supremacist to label babies with gender markers, and not all trans people concur with me on this. Lots of trans people can't see the truth of who we are, and that's nothing wrong with them. It's just I'm trying to tell them the truth. And the truth is that parents can't change this. It needs to change on a systemic level. You need to stop labeling babies with gender markers because there's no logical argument which supports labeling babies with gender markers that is not supremacist. There's not one. And it's not going to magically appear. The truth is always going to be the truth. So you need to start thinking about ways to improve it. However, I'm also of the opinion that things that have been happening to the trans minority happen to black people and happen to every other minority in the United States. In order to hammer this home, I'm going to read The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And it talks about to his nephew. He's talking to his nephew about the status of black people in America. And you could just replace the words black with trans and cis with white. For most respects, our oppressions are different, but in most respects, they're doing the same systemic thing to us. And I'm telling you, like, that's why I'm reading this, because you could, it basically sounds exactly how I sound in my videos, only with the word switched. And I'm not saying that we have the only real oppression. Like, I'm still not playing the oppression Olympics. I understand there's lots of problems. I'm just saying there happens to be a huge bug in how we're labeling babies, and it's really supremacist, and it's never going to stop. So we're going to have to... someone with power, it's not me, someone with power is gonna have to, like, get the ball moving on that, because the deadline for fixing this was in the past, like yesterday. Like, you needed to get this in yesterday, and you haven't gotten it in yet. It's still broken. So, anyway, without me ranting on trans problems for much longer, I'm going to read James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. You should get this book. I'm just reading an excerpt from it. I'm reading from the first part, which is a letter to his nephew. And this is about how black people were lied to and told they were children of Ham and good for nothing, and they're still told the same thing, only instead of saying God made them this way, instead money makes them this way, and generational wealth is what has damned them. It's no longer God damned them due to being children of Ham. It's money damned you, and now you're terrible. Fuck off. But anyway, that's just the background of the lie. Now I'll read what James Baldwin has to say about it. This innocent country set you down in a ghetto in which, in fact, it intended that you would perish. Let me spell it out precisely what I mean by that, for the heart of the matter is here and the root of my dispute with my country. You were born where you were born and faced the future that you faced because you were black and for no other reason. The limits of your ambition were thus expected to be set forever. You were born into a society which spelled out with brutal clarity and in as many ways as possible that you were a worthless human being. You were not expected to aspire to excellence. You were expected to make peace with mediocrity. Whatever you have turned, James, in your short time on this earth, you have been told where you could go and what you could do and how you could do it and where you could live and whom you could marry. I know your countrymen do not agree with me about this, that I hear them saying you exaggerate. They do not know Harlem, and I do. So do you. Take no one's word for anything, including mine, but trust your experience. Know whence you came. If you know whence you came, there's really no limit to where you can go. The details and symbols of your life have been deliberately constructed to make you believe what white people say about you. But please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity and fear. Please try to be clear, dear James, through the storm which rages about your youthful head today, about the reality which lies behind the words acceptance and integration. There is no reason for you to try to become like white people, and there is no basis whatever for their impertinent assumption that they must accept you. The really terrible thing, old buddy, is that you must accept them. And I mean that very seriously. You must accept them and accept them with love, for these innocent people have no other hope. They are, in effect, still trapped in a history which they do not understand until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. They have had to believe for many years and for innumerable reasons that black men are inferior to white men. Many of them indeed know better, but as you will discover, people find it very difficult to act on what they know. To act is to be committed, and to be committed is to be in danger. In this case, the danger in the minds of most white Americans is the loss of their identity. Try to imagine how you would feel if you woke up one morning to find the sun shining and all the stars aflame. You would be frightened because it is out of the order of nature. Any upheaval in the universe is terrifying because it so profoundly attacks one's sense of one's own reality. While the black man has functioned in the white man's world as a fixed star, as an immovable pillar. And as he moves out of his place, heaven and earth are shaken to its foundations. You don't be afraid. I said that it was intended that you should perish in the ghetto, perish by never being allowed to go beyond the white man's definitions, you never being allowed to spell your proper name. You have, and many of us have, defeated this intention, and by a terrible law, a terrible paradox, those innocents who believed that your imprisonment made them safe are losing their grasp of reality. But these men are your brothers. Your lost younger brothers, and if the word integration means anything, this is what it means, that we, with love, shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it. For this is your home, my friend. Do not be driven from it. Great men have done great things here and will again, and we can make America what America must become. It will be hard, James, but you come from sturdy peasant stock. Men who picked cotton and dammed rivers and built railroads, and in the teeth of the most terrifying odds achieved an unassailable and monumental dignity. You come from a long line of great poets, come from the greatest poet since Homer. One of them said, "The very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my chains fell off." You know and I know that the country is celebrating 100 years of freedom, 100 years too soon. We cannot be free until they are free. God bless you, James, and Godspeed. Anyway, I read to the end. Really, I just wanted the chunk before he got all sentimental about his nephew, but I was really feeling it at the end. It's very it's hard to read aloud, you know. But I try. I really suggest you get that book. It's one of my favorites. But as like I have said in the past, we upset cis people because we damage their identity. Our very existence damages their identity, so they'd rather us not exist. Because what is their reality now? Trans folks exist. What am I? If you're breaking gender roles and my only identity is the gender roles that I abide by, who am I? We're really threatening them. So I understand why they're like so scared, but at some point, like, trans people, we have to come together and be like, it's okay that you're scared because we're here and we're really cool and you get us. And people are so afraid of ego death and like letting themselves go. And what I always like have to say to this is like, you get a better one. Like, yes, your reality isn't necessarily right, but you're going to get a better reality when you replace it. When you fix it, the system's going to be better. People are so afraid of change. They're like, I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it. It's fine as it is. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to change it. But as soon as you change it, you get a better result than you would have had otherwise. So it's better for all groups. I don't understand why we can't get some brilliant minds to like change the paperwork, because it would be great for all kids to not have to abide by gender roles. And you can still label them with something scientific so that, like, you know, I have a uterus. That's fine. Just, like, let's get together. We're smart. We can come up with a better solution that doesn't traumatize trans kids for the rest of their existence. Like, you know,